Welcome back to What Are You Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the M6. It's a Tier 6 American heavy tank. It's located on the defending spawn on Karelia Assault, and it's under the command of Red Dog Alpha 1. And it's the first of a pair of replays featuring this tank. Well, the M6 was basically an upgrade of the T1 Heavy. It's armed with a 19mm gun, or at least the top gun is a 19mm. As you can see here, 240 Alpha, 160mm pen with standard AP, and with the premium rounds, the APCR, it does 243mm pen. Now he's gone straight to the AP, and yeah, it should be known that Red Dog Alpha 1, well, he's in Australia, so let's see how he gets on in this game. Whoa! Both turrets turn suddenly. I wonder if they spotted something. Not yet. Okay. Now, basically, the Americans did actually build the M6, but they only had a limited budget in the interwar years to actually develop this tank. And so they came up with this design based on the T1 Heavy. It was just an upgrade, basically. And by the time they actually developed it in December of 1942, the Armour Corps lost interest, and it was too big a target for the German heavy tanks to hit. So in the end, they decided not to go ahead with it. You can see, with 2 hits, he's managed to reduce that Panzer III Ausführung J to a one-shot. Okay, gets another target. You can see easily pens. No problem, that guy's a one-shot. And he gets his first kill. He bounced around from the Chi-He. It does have fairly good frontal armour for the M6, so long as it's only aimed at the front. The sides and the rear are weak. That Chi-He keeps punching rounds in, and you can see from the hit that that was probably a 57mm round. Oh, don't want to block the P-43. He's also got a 90mm gun. And there we've got another Japanese heavy, the Mitsu 108. Oh, now he's blocking him, but the Stug went for him rather than going for his teammate there, and consequently that one did go in. KV2, got to beware the derp. Punches another one into the looks, makes him a one-shot. The KV2 is suddenly coming to view. Didn't get that one in. That was right for the very top. And ideally, you aim for underneath the gun. Oh, he blocked a shot from the KV2, and it was an armor-piercing round, not a HE round. So he's not using the dirt. He is trying to use armor-piercing. And look how Red Dog Alpha 1's using AP as well to try and get the shots in. Going for the Chi-Ha. Ow. Took a round, and the KV2 finally fired the HE, but only got 243, and we lost our gunner, so we need to get the gunner back in. Unfortunately, we used the first aid kit before our teammate got hit, so now we've got to play with a bad gunner, or a dead gunner, and this is where having jack of all trades on one of your commanders, or your commander, actually really does work, because if you lose a gunner and he's got jack of all trades, he can still dial in the aim on a target. But if you haven't got jack of all trades, ow! We got hit again, and another HE round. So that's kind of held us up, and now we've lost a lot of hit points. And we're not going to get our gunner back for another 40 seconds. So it's going to take time. I don't think he should be pushing at this moment, but he wants to. The Chi-He managed to bounce that one, and that one went through. He is now getting very ridiculously low on hit points. Let this guy take the hits from the Chi-He, and he got the kill. Okay, that guy's out the game. Yeah, until you can get your gunner back in, this tank is basically handicapped. Has bounced a lot of damage, he's done a lot of damage, But he's got to take care of that KV-2, and he's off to his right at the moment. Okay, he's auto-aimed on. Yes, got rid of him. Okay, now, get your gunner back in. Get your gunner back in. He's got the first aid kit available, but he hasn't got his gunner back in. Oh dear. I think he's not realised yet. Come on. I think they think the game's all over. It's not yet. He needs to get that gunner back in. No, he's not exactly a one-shot, but most of the enemy tanks are right down the other end of the map at the moment. So he's got some drive to get there. There is a VK3002M on the other side of the rock to our left, but there's two tanks who can deal with him, so I wouldn't worry about those two. Okay, Type 58. Maybe he'll notice that he's dialing in very, very slowly on the enemy, and he'll put his gunner back in. But if it stays like it is at the moment, he's probably not going to get any more hits on the enemy. Yeah, he's still trying to play the game without a gunner. Very difficult indeed. There's only 4 enemies left. They're all over the other side. The VK3002 did go down. So, yes, at least that's been done. Yeah, he still hasn't noticed that his gunner's out. I think it was because it was for so long that he didn't realise, but it's painfully slow trying to dial in on the enemy. Only 3 enemy left now. Come on, notice your gunner. Oh dear. This is terrible. And there he's got a perfect target, but he's dialing in, and he took a hit from the budgie there, mainly down to the fact that he wasn't fully dialed in, and oh, it took forever. The AEC's going in alone. There's the Type 58 now. He needs to get a shot. He does. Still not noticed his gunner's down, and he goes down. Now, that wouldn't have happened but for the fact he didn't notice he didn't have a gunner. Here's the end of battle results, and that was a second-class tanker for Red Dog Alpha 1 in the M6. He managed to get a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this one. He managed to get 5 exactly. He got a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else in his team, and he did get the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, but I'm afraid he did get killed by that Type 58, mainly because he wasn't fully dialed in on the enemy, and if he had been dialed in, he wouldn't have needed to rush forward to try and get as close as possible to shoot the enemy. He could have used the ridgeline and shot at him from that, and yes, then he wouldn't have died at all. His win rate was 6,554. He did very well up in the corner of the map, in the north corner of the map. But unfortunately, yes, as I said, he died and he shouldn't have. Let's have a look at team score. The highest damage was 2,445 hit points, beating the next highest, which was the Type 58 that killed him, 1,533. And following that was the VK3002M. That was the guy on the other side in the Southern Pass. He got 1,466. When it came to kills, it was the AMX-13 FL11 who got 3 kills in that game. 2 kills went to Red Dog Alpha 1 and the AEC, and also to the Type 58 and the Leopard on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, Red Dog Alpha 1 got the highest on that one, so he's got the top in 2 columns. 1,077 went to Red Dog Alpha 1, the only one to get over 1,000 base. 732 went to the VK3002M on his own team, who also picked up a Spartan. And the third highest was the AEC, got 597. So, yes, I reckon that would have been even higher, but for the fact, of course, that he didn't recognize that his gunner was still not in. There you go. 20 shots fired, 15 direct hits, 11 penetrations. Some of the shots he fired were while his gunner was out, and of course those are the ones that either missed the target or weren't exactly accurate or took forever to dial in. He wouldn't have taken that hit from the budgie if he'd been fully dialed in, because of course he would have got the shot in and possibly killed the budgie, or at least if not killed the budgie, he certainly would have been able to move out of the budgie's gun sight, so he wasn't sitting there for so long waiting for it to dial in to allow the budgie to get the shot in on him. 2,445 hit points of damage, of which 263 were at more than 300 meters. 19 hits received from the enemy. Only 8 of those penetrated, 9 non-penetrations, and 2 hits by way of splash. Those were the HE from the KV-2. 1,255 hit points of block damage. 3 enemy vehicles spotted, 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 killed, 143 hit points of damage assistance. Now, he did earn a profit, 29,514 credits on a premium account, and he also took away 1,615 experience points. So, a good game, but for the fact, of course, he left his gun out too long. Always worthwhile checking to see, has your first aid kit come back online so you can actually get the gunner back in. Unfortunately, on this case, Red Dog Alpha 1 was so focused on the enemy, he was tunnel visioning on the fact that he didn't have his gunner. There you go. Happens sometimes. Let's have a look at the second replay in the M6. The second replay is on the Abbey map, and we're on the South Spawn. Well, although they developed it in 1940 and standardized it in May 26, 1942, there are actually 9 vehicles, 8 serial ones and 1 experimental, that were basically the M6. Never saw action. It had a cast hull, hydromechanical suspension. It was basically, as I said, a T1 heavy derivative. And basically it starts with 3 76mm gun, and then you get the 90mm gun, the top gun, which is very effective indeed. It has good engine power, good speed per weight, considering it's 61 tons, and it's quite a decent tank if it weren't so big. And, well, I think the Americans were right not to use it in the European theatre, even though they were clamouring for a heavy tank to fight the Tigers with. The fact of the matter is that it would not have dealt well with the Tigers, and as it stood, oh, easy kill. Come on, wipe this guy out. He's really asking for it. Nice. Yes, it really wasn't a contender against the German Tigers, or either of them, the Tiger 1 or Tiger 2, or even for that matter the Panthers. So yes, it would have had trouble. Okay. Well, first one didn't connect. There he is, just down below. Got the cupola. No, close, but not on it. Good position here. Oh, there's an enemy behind him. Well, he did get some off that guy. Okay. Remember, it's 240 Alpha, 160 with standard ammo. He's using the premium ammo now for 243mm of pen. And yes, he is starting to carve his way through. That one was on a VK3601H. Yep, got him again. Of course, the VK3601H was a 36-ton heavy tank from the Germans, which of course they never put into production. Okay, shot. Yep. And, oh, that was only 4 hit points. That was an HE round. And same again from the OI experimental. Ow, and he has actually managed to damage our gun. But we've now, because we've blocked so much damage, we've actually potentially got a steel wall out of this. Enough shots blocked, over 1,000 hit points, and the Juno does get a shot into us for 210, making it very difficult. We can see the cupola every time he moves backwards and forwards. That cupola comes into sight, but he just doesn't seem to be able to get the shell on target. That's better. A high roll, 251. Juno, can we get a shot? Go for the OI. Yes, that's much better. You can easily punch through the turret on the OI. Doesn't need to go for the weak spots. Yep. And that potentially is high caliber. So he's got 20% of the enemy hit pool, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's got the win yet, because of course he needs to get the highest damage in the game, and somebody else could still get past his 20% point. Now it looks like the enemies pulled back because they are taking too much damage, so I think we can move now. Now you can see that some of the shells actually, you can see they were trying to go for the propeller on the right side of the vehicle, or for the roof of the vehicle, and they did get some pens, but not a lot. That was the Juno trying to get that shot in. Yes, nice pen on the Juno. Go for it again. Side armor. Yes. One shot now, and the Juno comes around the corner to defend his teammate, and now he goes out the game. There you go. But we are taking damage. We're down to 76 hit points. We could go down to the next shot. Now, can he get a shot into this guy? No, because he's out the game. There's only 4 enemies remaining, and they're back at our cap area. So we've got to drive all the way home. And it looks like they might get joined by the Basotto. If the enemy's smart enough, they'll get everyone into the cap, and it'll only be the AMX CLC and the T-3485M trying to stop them from capping. They've got 3 in the cap at the moment. That's the maximum number you can get. But if they're smart, they'll put at least 4 in, and hopefully that means that they will be able to, if one gets reset, the other one starts capping on his behalf. Oh, they've lost. Well, they're down to 2 now. And the Easy 2, which of course that's the Sherman Jumbo, he's outside the cap. Ooh, can he get a shot? Not easy. He needs to see where the guy in the cap is. Well, we can't see him at the moment, but the T-3485M is going to spot him momentarily. And there's the Easy 2. Oh, one shot in, and now we got 3 in the end at the other end of the map. The Basotto is the only remaining enemy in the cap. We can easily take him out. Don't go over the edge, though. Don't go over the edge. Okay, now go for him. Go for him. Yes, he gets the kill, wins the game, and they cap out at the other end. Well, that was a much better game by Red Dog Alpha 1 in the M6. He got a first-class tanker in this one. He also got a Reaper badge for getting consecutive enemies with consecutive shots. And on top of that, he got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. On top of that, he got a fire effect for doing more damage than hit points for his own vehicle. And lastly, he got a steel wall for blocking the most damage in that game. His win rate was 11,231, which is super unicum and quite a bit more. Let's have a look at his team score. Well, unfortunately, somebody did beat his 20%, and it was the T-3485M. He managed to get a high caliber for 3,380 hit points of damage. Like, my warning was correct. You've got to keep up your damage rate in order to get that high caliber. And if you don't, somebody else will beat you. And in fact, it was the T-3485M who got it. When it came to Red Dog Alpha 1, he got 3,267. And the third highest damage in that game actually went to the Juno on the enemy team. The one that was actually hitting us. He got 1,571 hit points of damage, and quite a lot of that damage came from Red Dog Alpha 1. When it came to kills, though, he shared the top spot with the T-3485M. They both got 4 kills in that game, so at least he did get the tops in that one. And when it came to the next highest, that'd be the Juno on his own team, the Panzerfahr F2, and on the enemy team, their Type 64 and their Chi-Nu. The Chi-Nu managed to get a Lever Slayer's medal in that one as well. And when it came to base XP, we can see it's that T3485M again. So technically, he got the top in all 3 columns, even though Red Dog Alpha 1 shared the number of kills with him in that game. So the T3485M got 1,412 base experience points, and then Red Dog Alpha 1 got 1,225. Both good scores, and both of them the only players who managed to get over 1,000 base in the game. So 2 really good players, and they between them managed to get more kills than all the other members of their team put together. We'll look at detail. He fired 21 rounds, but he got 19 direct hits and 16 penetrations. A much better game in terms of accuracy on this one. 3,267 hit points of damage, all of it done at close range. I think on the accuracy, by the way, that was really helped by the fact he didn't lose his gunner during the game. Yes, that certainly does help accuracy a lot. He also got 16 hits received from the enemy, only 7 of which actually penetrated. Most of those were the ones that went for the roof of the cabin. The Juno knew exactly where to put the round in order to get through the top armor on the vehicle. 5 non-penetrations and 4 hits by way of splash. Those were from the OI. 1,085 hit points damage blocked by armor. 2 enemy vehicles spotted. 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed. And on a premium count, he actually made a loss in this game of 37,171 credits, but that's mainly down to the fact he was using the premium APCR to get through the armor on those heavy tanks on the west side of the map. If he'd actually been using the AP, it would have been a lot more difficult to try and get through the turret of the OI and also that Juno. So he did make the right decision to use that, but of course it cost him overall on the game because he had to spend 84,110 credits on ammunition alone. Now, he got 5,513 experience points out of that one as well, because he got a huge reward for completing a mission and events. But that was a much better game than the previous one, of course, on the Karelia map. Even though he got a Confederate and a high caliber in that one, it was the fact that he lost his gun that really handicapped him. And his win rate was a lot lower. But in the following game, you can see the win rate's gone up dramatically because he didn't lose his gunner. He was getting accurate shots. He wasn't suffering a huge amount of damage, even though he was down on damage, down on health at the end of the game. He did get 2 lovely kills right at the end. The M4A3E2 and, of course, the kill on the Basotto, which kind of compensated for the fact that he actually lost out on getting the high caliber. Hope you enjoyed both of those replays. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.